Let's go to the highlights. First player that signed on the dotted line that sent in his fax today, John O'Corn, quarterback out of Florida, kind of the headliner of this class, Coach. A big pickup from John O'Corn, the 7A State Player of the Year in the state of Florida.
John, tremendous young man, as I am, would say about all these young men in this year's class. I grew exceptionally close with he and his family. I really personally recruited him from day one. And really, really excited about him. He's been committed for a long time, stayed committed throughout, had some people flirting with him. And I like to equate this process to getting married. Today's the wedding day, and we were engaged for a long time. And there were a lot of women that asked him out on dates in the last couple of weeks, per se, as an example. And he stayed committed and really excited to get a player of his character, of his leadership, and naturally of his ability.
Welcome back into the Houston Cougars Signing Day webcast, all part of Signing Day Central, uhcougars.com. We're free on all access this season on Signing Day, but we encourage you to sign up for the future. A lot of things like this. Also, we have live events, press conferences, and interviews. And as you can see, we're joined now by Travis Bush. First off, Coach, a new assistant head coach, co-offensive coordinator. Congratulations with a new job title.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Now, we'll talk a little bit about the running backs today. Before we do that, though, what's Signing Day like for you after going out on the recruiting trail, going to all these visits, visiting with players? What's it like to finally see all of that come to a head and end today with everybody finally sending in their national letters of intent?
Well, it's fun. It's just it's a relief. It's good to be back in Houston, be back at home. But it's kind of like like you put together a game plan and you see it unfold and see it come to play in the end. So it's kind of a relief to get the recruiting season over with and get these guys signed and now start talking about 2013.
Now, how quickly will you start looking forward to next season's recruiting class?
A lot of it, guys we've already seen recruiting this class. You get to know some of the younger guys, so we're already on a bunch of guys for next year already.
Back to Houston Cougars Signing Day webcast, all part of Signing Day Central, uhcougars.com, or the U of H Athletics Alumni Center on the All Access, free this year on Signing Day. A lot of great things to sign up for future events, live events, press conferences, interviews. You'll want to get signed up on All Access. We're joined now by new defensive coordinator for the Houston Cougars, David Gibbs, in his first season at the University of Houston. Welcome to Houston.
Thank you. It's good to be a Houston Cougar.
Now, you're no stranger to the city, former coach with the Houston Texans. How do you like the city of Houston?
I love it. I tell you what, I used to recruit Houston when I was coaching at the University of Kansas and the University of Minnesota, and I really didn't like Houston all that much. It just traffic was crazy, and you can imagine not knowing your way around. Mm-hmm. But when I moved down here about 4 years ago to go to work for the Texans, I really fell in love with the city, and my wife and my kids love the city, so we're happy to be here and happy to be able to stay in Houston.
Now, what made the University of Houston attractive to you? What do you like about U of H?
Well, I've known Coach Levine a long time, and I actually got to spend a lot of time over here the last couple of years when I was out of coaching, and just got to spend time with these guys and got to be around the program and the players and the university. And obviously going into the Big East was a big upside for us, and I just can't wait to get started.
Now, you don't look it, but you're a 20-year veteran in the coaching ranks, 5 years of defensive coordinator experience, 9 years in the NFL. How is all that experience, do you think, make an advantage for you? How does that benefit you?
Well, I think the more coaches you've been around, defense coordinators, head coaches, in the NFL, being around great players that have played the game and been through the wars, a lot. If you just pick up a little bit from each one of those guys, you have a tendency to. You might not have the final answer, or you might not have the greatest answer, but you will have some answers, and you'll have some ways to to try to defend this crazy spread offense that's going through now. It's going through pro football as well as college football. So hopefully I've picked up some things over the years, and hopefully it'll give us a chance to play some good defense.
Now, you've coached some great linebackers in your career as well. I know there's been a laundry list of players. I won't ask you to get into any specifics. I know our fans want to know what kind of style of defense should we expect. Is it too early to tell?
It is, and I appreciate you taking the heat off of me by saying that. But the catch-all answer that I'm saying right now is we're going to be multiple. These offensive guys, they're smart and they spread the field on you. You've got to be able to play a 3-4. You've got to be able to play a 4-3. You've got to be able to stay in base sometimes, go to nickel at other times, play some dime defense with 6 DBs in the game. You can't give them a steady dose because the play callers are too good. And the quarterbacks, because they spread you out and they go no huddle, the quarterbacks have a big advantage because they got a lot of time to stand at the line of scrimmage and read your coverage, read your defense. It's going to be a big challenge.
Now, if you have a question for defensive coordinator David Gibbs, you can tweet us by using the hashtag FutureCougs. Also on the live chat at uhcougars.com. If you have a question for Coach Gibbs, send it in. We'll get to those as soon as we run through the highlight reel of a few of these linebackers. And these linebackers will be joining a list of some pretty good linebackers already on your team. Let's take a look at the first one now. We talked with Coach Tony Levine. Tyler McCloskey from Memorial High School in Houston, Texas, played quarterback his last 2 seasons, District 19 5A co-offensive MVP. In his senior season. Last time he played linebacker was a sophomore, but he put up incredible numbers. 95 tackles, 5 sacks, and 5 forced fumbles. All the highlights we can get of him was him playing quarterback, but there he is powering over the defense. You can tell he's going to like to lay some blows, which you like to see a linebacker do.
There's no question. Obviously the comparison that everybody's going to make watching this film is he's Tim Tebow kind of, and that's a good thing. And obviously Tim Tebow could probably play linebacker if he wasn't so caught up on playing quarterback. But Tyler's, obviously a great leader, plays with a lot of energy. We're excited to have him join our football team.
He just looks like a football player, but somebody that hasn't played linebacker in 2 seasons, played quarterback the last 2. What kind of challenges do you think there will be for Tyler?
Well, there'll be a learning curve, but obviously playing the quarterback position, he's a smart, intelligent guy, and he knows not only offense, but you have to know defenses because they check runs, they check passes. So, he just had to get back in the swing of reading the triangle and reading the linemen but physically he is he's prototype linebacker.
All right, the next two linebackers, both midterm players. We take a look first at Landon Roberts, 6'1", 225 pounds, a transfer from Morgan State, played his high school ball locally at Port Arthur Memorial in Port Arthur, Texas. 107 tackles to lead Morgan State. That's the second best output in school history. He was second in the MEAC. He's 11th on the Jerry Rice Award, which is given to the top freshman on the FCS level. He'll have 3 years of eligibility once he gets going. Watching a Landon Roberts on film, what are some things that stick out to you, Coach?
Well, I tell you what, I was very impressed with this guy, and obviously I've seen him work out since he's been here. He's explosive. He's fast. He's sideline to sideline. He gives you some versatility because he can play. He can play Sam. He can play Mike. He can play Will. And the advantage he's got, and is what you don't get to see a whole lot of his plays there, but he's played against some good competition because they played Buffalo. They played a couple. MAC schools. I mean, he's been on the big stage before, so he has an advantage, and obviously he's going to be here for spring football. So I'm very excited to have him. Him join our defense.
Sorry to interrupt you. We'll take a look at another mid-year fella, Caleb Tucker, another linebacker, 6'2", 225 pounds from Ouachita High School in Monroe, Louisiana. 3-star ESPN Scout Rivals 24/7. Number 53 linebacker nationally, number 35 player in the state of Louisiana on ESPN. Senior season, 77 tackles. Junior season, 75 tackles. Had 15 tackles for a loss in his junior year and 7 sacks in that season as well. Breaking down the film of Tucker, some things that stick out to you.
Well, I'm going to start by telling you that this guy is a grown man. Did you say he was, I don't know, is he 17, 18?
All I know is he's 6'2", 225.
Let me tell you something. He is a grown man, and he's going to be a big fella, and he can run and hit. They actually had him in camp here, and he ran really well in his 40 time. But you can tell he's going to be a big, hard-hitting physical football player, and we're excited to have him also.
You have 3 linebackers coming in. What are some of the keys for a linebacker coming in, adjusting to a new defensive scheme? First time that they'll be here at the University of Houston. What are some challenges that lay ahead for these 3?
Well, just getting comfortable around around college football and your teammates, and the defense the defense will be simple. Obviously, you can't go too crazy. And I keep saying the way the offenses go fast and they spread you out, you can't have the kids thinking too much. But these guys, they're all smart guys. I've talked to all of them. They seem to be, all mentally ready to go. Physically, the difference nowadays than 5 years ago is they'll have to be in top physical condition to be able to compete, because the offense, like I keep saying, you every 15 seconds the ball's being snapped, and you're not used to that as a high school football player. Even though they think they're going fast in high school, the tempo will be tenfold here in college.
David Gibbs, new defensive coordinator at the University of Houston. Coach, welcome back to U of H.
Thank you.
David Gibbs, defensive coordinator, stopping by on our Houston Cougars Signing Day webcast, all part of Signing Day Central at uhcougars.com. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, another coach here on the Houston Cougars Signing Day webcast.